Welcome to the Family Brand Show. We're Chris and Melissa Smith of FamilyBrand.com, husband and wife, parents of 5, and we want to help you take back your family and to live life on your terms.
And we know being a family can feel really overwhelming. Parents tell us they feel like they're being pulled in a million different directions. It's so challenging to navigate the uncertainty and all the chaos that's happening in the world right now.
And that's why we want to bring you every single week actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become a better parent, to become a better spouse, and to build a stronger family. And look, there's never been a better time and a more important time than right now to take back your family. You can define what your family stands for, or the world is going to do it for you. And the world needs strong families now more than ever. And it starts right here with your family.
We are going to keep the conversation going about girl dad, but we're taking a different direction. Heard mine and Melissa's conversation. If you didn't, about this camp that I attended with 1,200 other dads, Melissa kind of interviewed me, and girl dad was just dads and daughters. It was awesome. In fact, over the weekend, one of the dances that we learned, the song came on, and me and Ivy and Indy just busted out the dance impromptu in the kitchen.
Except for Ivy now has a broken toe, so she has a giant boot under her. But
She kind of danced.
she wasn't as spry as she was earlier.
I was sharing with Melissa one night on one of our walks, which I just love walking with Melissa. And we do our hot girl walks with our weighted vests.
We should do an episode about a hot walk.
Yeah, we hashtag vesties. And I was just sharing an observation that I had made from Girl Dad. And I had this observation last year. I had it even more so this year. And Melissa's like, I think that'd be a really useful thing to talk about on the podcast. And I think it is a bit of a sensitive topic, and I want to be conscious of that. And I talked about this week on social media. I made a post. What I observed is that of 1,200 dads, I didn't see all of them by any means. I saw at any given time our group, which probably had 50 to 100 dads in it, and other groups. But it's quite active, meaning you're playing frisbee, soccer, basketball, swimming, yoga, pickleball. It occurred to me that there were a lot of dads that either could not participate really at all with their daughters in these activities, or were very limited in how much they could participate. And there was a tiny percentage of dads who could really fully participate. And I just kind of was like, I really felt, it just made me sad, like for these dads and also for their girls, that, because I think most of these dads want to participate in life. They want to participate in their girls' lives and be able to run with them and hike, or, little kids wrestle, like whatever that means, whatever that looks like. And then while they're at Girl Dad Camp, I thought about a guy that Melissa and I met at the gym in Hawaii when we were there for our couples retreat. And I think Melissa's told this story. And it was a guy who was in his 80s. We didn't think he was in his 80s because we saw his workout in the gym and what he was doing. And later we found out he was in his 80s. Oh my gosh, like this guy's an inspiration to us. And Melissa said that she started talking with the guy and was telling him how impressed she was for how active he was and how nimble and how much he could move for being his age. And he goes, but yeah, when I was younger, I would wrestle with my grandsons, and my daughter would always be like, you can't be so rough with them, you're going to hurt them. He goes, now I wrestle with my grandsons, and my daughter's always getting after my grandsons. You can't be so rough with grandpa, you're going to hurt him. But just the fact that he can do that in his 80s, he can wrestle with his grandsons. You could tell that guy could go on hikes. He could do pretty much anything to a certain degree. And Melissa and I have said this a lot, just in conversations with each other. Like, I want to be in my 60s, 70s, 80s and still be able to run around with my grandkids. I definitely right now with my kids want to be at a place where I can participate in life with them. And so this is not a podcast episode about getting in shape or being healthier, although that might be a component of it. It's just a podcast episode about, are you able to participate in life with your kids to the degree that you want to? And if you're not, and you have control over it, then do something about it. And then look, I get that there's circumstances where, and those, my heart goes out to people where it's like, they physically can't, right? Because of some type of injury or something that's just, present in their life where they're not able to and they want to. Those aside, there was a lot of dads that I observed that like they could come back next year if they've made some just, changes in their lifestyle, potentially. They could come back next year and be able to participate more fully. And I think Melissa and I even observed this one time we were at Disneyland. It was really fun. We took just Trip and Indy to Disneyland, our two youngest. And I mean, Melissa was a warrior. She went for like morning till they shut the park down, literally, her and Indy. Trip fell asleep.
Indy, she's our little, she's was drunk.
And it was sad to see the number of parents who couldn't go hard, if you will, in Disneyland with their kids, or couldn't ride rides, or couldn't. And again, there can be, I think the health and fitness industry also can send sometimes a really unuseful message to, especially to like women, like you got to look a certain way and you've got to have a certain size and a certain shape. I'm not talking about any of that. I don't care about this from a vanity perspective. And I don't think there's anything wrong with looking good. If that motivates you, go for it. I'm simply talking about being in a place where you're physically able to participate in life with your family and do the things that you would want to do for you and also for them. And I think it's useful to have that motivation come from within. Like, I'm going to do this for me. Like, it's okay to be a little bit selfish in this regard. And I don't think it is selfish, because the more you pour into your health, the more you're actually available for others. So I actually think in some ways it's unselfish. So I think a really useful motivator, though, sometimes can be, if you haven't found the motivation yet to be able to do it for you, is to like maybe find some motivation in doing it partly initially for your kids and for your family. Because I also had this thought that our health isn't just about us. It's about the people that are counting on us. It's about the people who are depending on us. And I had some cool conversations with some dads about this, and I just encouraged them, like I gave them some suggestions or tips, like things they would ask me. But I just don't want to see any parent ever not participate in activities that they would really love to with their kids, whether it's hiking, playing a sport, walking, being able to ride certain rides, like whatever it is.
Yeah, it's interesting. As you're describing it, what I was thinking of is, they put themselves on the sidelines. In this case, literally and figuratively. And I don't think any parent wants to put themselves on the sidelines. Like, you want to be in the game with your kids and able to do that. I'm thinking about Disneyland, and I have a question for you. So if you think back to when we went to Disneyland, this was two years ago, last September. And also this time, Chris was preparing to do his first ever bodybuilding show.
First and only at the foot.
As of time of recording only. And it was interesting because Chris had never done like a prep before, and we didn't exactly know what it entailed, but we ended up packing. I think his bodybuilding show was like the next week. And so it was like pretty strict. Like, you had to get up and get your workouts in. We were packing food.
I brought a full Yeti backpack cooler with all my meals in it.
He ate no churros. He just sniffed churros.
I got the biggest high just sniffing a churro, like, this is amazing. And the people helped me prep, they're incredible. They're like, you're insane. We never in the history of helping probably dozens of people, no one's ever been crazy enough to go to Disneyland the week before the show. And I was like, well, just the schedule worked out this way.
Okay, but what it reminds me of is, you could look at that and say, oh, you didn't get to participate fully, like, because you didn't get to eat the churros and you had to wake up early and get the workout in. And you could also say, even if you're not at Disneyland, maybe you're not eating, maybe it looks like not eating the birthday cake, or it means like waking up early to hit the gym or go on a walk or whatever it is, that it could be said that you're missing out, or that's a sacrifice for life, right? Like right now, it's like a sacrifice right now, but it's a sacrifice that is going to pay huge dividends like later on.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of the quote by Confucius. Like, I love this quote: a healthy person has 1,000 wishes, and an unhealthy person has just one. And it's like, yeah, you're going to have it. if you want to be a bit more healthy, whatever that means for everyone, if you want to be a bit more active, it's going to require some sacrifices. It is absolutely going to require a little bit of suffering and a little bit of pain. It just is. What I want to compete in a bodybuilding show, which is kind of the extreme. Yeah, if you're going to want to get on stage and be somewhat competitive, it's going to require some serious sacrifices and some pain and some effort. But also, like, if it's like, I just want to show up to Girl Dad next year and actually be able to fully participate in pickleball, ultimate frisbee, soccer, basketball, that's going to require some sacrifice and some pain and some suffering between now and this and then. And it's so worth it. There's a big payoff for it, though. It's not just I'm going to suffer and sacrifice and commit and have nothing to show for it. You'll actually have what I believe is the greatest gift, which is your health. There is nothing more important. Again, like, when you have your health, it's so easy to take it for granted. So again, that's why I love that quote so much. Like, a healthy man has a healthy person has 1,000 wishes, an unhealthy person has just one. And most things in life, that are worthwhile require some sacrifice and some suffering.
Okay, when we're writing a family brand book, we've actually been writing it for a couple of years, but we had someone helping us with the book. And as you're talking, I was reminded of this, that as we're kind of writing this book, we're developing our content, kind of also developing our family brand academy curriculum. And we were going back and forth about, what are the most important family values to include in this book. And the person helping us write, we're putting out suggestions. And one of our suggestions was, I think it would be important for families to have a family value around health. And she very, very convincingly was like, no, this is not like a universal value. I don't think you should include this. But the very interesting thing is, at the same time, there was like multiple calls that we were supposed to have scheduled that she had kept having to cancel because of her dad's poor health.
Which seemed to mostly be related to like lifestyle choice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just really interesting to me. It wasn't something that obviously she valued and didn't see the value in it for other families, but we were seeing in real time it playing out for her in a way that it was really sad for her, like having to miss the calls and watch her dad go through a really intense physical trial, really.
That's a great point. And what Melissa's talking about in the academy, which, by the way, it is incredible because Melissa has made it so easy for families to actually go through a curriculum that allows them to build their family values. And there's 8 categories. So the premise is that we believe that families would really benefit from having a value in each of these 8 core categories. And 6 of those categories are based off of a lot of compelling research, which we took those very clinical research terms and branded them to be, categories that could be values in and of themselves. And the 6 are: we appreciate, we prioritize, we talk, we bond, we believe, and we overcome. So that's what the research showed. Strong families prioritize each other, appreciate each other, they talk, they bond, they believe, and they overcome. We added 2 more, which is we created the category around impact, and we also created the category around we move, which is a value around health, because that can mean so many different things. But here's what's so interesting. We went back and forth for a while of, should we make this 8th category one of the core categories and encourage families to have a value around their health? And ultimately, it was convincingly for us so clear, like, yes, because without your health, to some degree, none of the other categories might not even matter. Without your health, you will have a harder time appreciating your family. Without your health, you will have a harder time prioritizing your family. Without your health, you'll have a harder time talking and bonding and like creating an impact together, like, so much of that. Yeah. It's like, I think the message I want to get across the most to you is to encourage you to speak possibility into you, that like, if you find that you're not able to be out on the playing field of life to the degree you want with your family, set some goals and do that. You're worth it. Like, take some time for you, whatever that is. But be at least, my encouragement to you would be at least at enough of a physical capability where you can do the things that you want to do with your family that are important to your family and fully participate in life. Because if you're doing that, I think you're winning. And if it requires some extra motivation, if you haven't found enough motivation to do it for just you, that idea of like, I'm going to do it for me and my family, because my health isn't just about me. It's about those who are depending on me and who are counting on me. And I don't know, I can't remember the quote exactly, but like, hard decisions create an easy life. Easy decisions create a hard life. So it's kind of this, the easy decision is always around health. It's like, well, I'll just eat whatever I want and consume whatever I want and not work out. That's technically easier, but it likely creates some harder things later in life. But if I can do the harder things now, which is be somewhat mindful about what I eat, make some type of commitment to my health working out, there's a likelihood that it leads to some easier things later in life.
I want you to add one more thing. On our original walk where we were talking about this, you were talking about this idea of being dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
I thought
I'm glad you brought that up.
awesome. Will you talk more about that?
Yeah, like another thought that occurred to me, and I don't know why this thought occurred to me, it never had before. I'm like, should I edit this a little bit? But no, I'm just going to share it authentically, and you guys will see the nut job that I am at times. But I have this thought. I was looking at this field of dads, and I don't know, like this is an assumption. I'm making this up, but I feel like I'm physically strong for my size. I feel like I'm in great shape.
Not by accident, mind you. Like, you put in the work.
Thank you. I've also trained jujitsu a little bit, so I feel like I have some self-defense. But I was looking out at this field of dads, and I was like, if someone of my capability physically attacked one of these dads and their families, like obviously that would not be a useful thing to do, but if I wasn't in my right mind or lost my temper, if I physically attacked 99.9% of these dads, they would stand no chance. They would not be able to defend their family against me for very long if they just had to use their hands. And I was like, that was a scary thought for me on behalf of those dads. It's like, I also, especially as a dad, are you dangerous at all? Meaning, are you in enough of physical shape and strength to be dangerous? I want to be dangerous on behalf of my family. I want to be in a position where no matter who it was, that if I had to, with my bare hands, I could physically defend my family. And I may not win, but I would be able to defend them for long enough, strength-wise and even cardio, where you'd have to be pretty damn tough and pretty skilled to take me and my family out, if we're just talking bare hands to bare hands. And I'd be able to defend my family long enough to be at least dangerous enough to defend until some help arrived. And that was another thought. It's like, man, as a dad, maybe some motivation is be in good enough shape where you could be dangerous enough to at least defend your family if you had to.
You're getting so fired up about this. And also, if you're not watching this on video, Chris grew a mustache. Well, I mean, he's always kind of had a beard. Now a mustache. So me watching you talk right now with your mustache, I just can't help but smile at you.
You're just so turned on and riveted by
your views
mustache
and your dangerous ways.
We better end this podcast early so Melissa can make out with me.
Okay, give us a wrap on today's episode.
Yeah, look, find the motivation. Eventually it has to come from with you, but find it. Whether it's man, I'm motivated to be able to at least be in a position where I could physically defend my family. Maybe that's your motivation. Or it's you know what? I do want to ride bikes with my kids more often than I do now. I want to play sports with them more often than I do now. I want to whatever it is, and I don't feel like I can, or I feel like I can, but just for a tiny bit, and I have no energy. It's whatever the motivation is, you got to find it. And I do think this is about energy. It's having the energy to fully participate in life. I'm talking about just in the context of your family, but look, you will be able to more fully show up to every aspect of your life, your career, your business, even I think your spirituality benefits. That's another thing that's interesting. There isn't an area of your life or a domain of your life that is not benefited by you becoming stronger and more physically capable. Think about that. And it's like, I've never met anyone that leaves the gym feeling worse than when they got there. And no matter where you're at on the physical fitness or capability spectrum, it's like whether you're just getting started and you're in not great shape, or you're in great shape and you do it forever, you feel better. It's like one of the most effective drugs for your energy, your mood, your spirituality, your physicality, like everything. And it creates this ripple effect in every area of your life, and it's free. It's like name another drug that has those kinds of benefits and positive side effects, and it's completely free. You don't have to have a gym membership. You could just get after it at home with like burpees and push-ups and air squats. But I think that it's so easily accessible that that's another thing that sometimes I think has it be a challenge for us, is because we know that like, oh yeah, I've got this gym membership. I could go, or yeah, I've got ground. Literally, I just need ground. I could do push-ups on or air squats, or it's so easy to take it for granted, I think, sometimes, because maybe we don't have to sacrifice enough for it. But find a reason to be active enough to participate in life. If you're a dad, find a reason to be active enough to defend your family, and do it for you. Do it because you matter. Don't do it because some guy, Chris Smith, is like telling you to do it, or someone's trying to guilt you into do it or shaming you. No, do it because you matter. Do it because you're worth it and you're worth investing in. Any final thoughts, Willis? Okay. You guys are awesome. All right. So that is it for today's episode of the Family Brand Podcast.
But before you go, we have something fun for you.
Yeah. Like if you've ever wondered, okay, so how's our family culture actually doing? We've got an incredible quiz for that.
Good news, it's quick, it's free, and when you're done with that quiz, we'll even email you this awesome PDF full of practical ways to strengthen your family culture right away.
So all you have to do is go to familybrand.com/quiz, take the quiz, grab the PDF.
We'll see you next time.